Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about Avengers Doomsday. And I just want to go ahead and say this video is probably going to be quick, short, simple, and to the point. But this is just another episode of Unfiltered Talks, and I'm going to be talking about predictions for a movie that is super far well off in advance, and I absolutely have no idea what is going to be happening with this movie, what's going on with this movie, but I kind of want to advise that you stay off of Twitter right now, because for some reason Twitter is like blowing up with a bunch of different random scoopers who are like, oh my god, I know the entire plot of this movie, and I know that this person's going to be going on this movie, and this person's going to be in this movie, and there's just a lot going on right now that I feel like is not really good for the community, not really good for the movie itself, and I kind of want to advise anybody from looking at some of these scoops, some of these leaks, because they're assuming that some absolutely crazy and insane things are going to happen in this movie, and although it is definitely possible, especially with Kevin Feige constantly being like, well, you know, nowadays anything is possible, and them revealing the fact that, you know, Iron Man is going to be playing Doctor Doom, like, that's a big deal, and a lot of people are like, that should have been a surprise. So obviously right now with Marvel, it's really hard to know, like, oh, well, if they're willing to reveal this, there's got to be some bigger surprise. But sometimes that isn't the case, because with movies like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I don't feel like there was a bigger cameo than Captain Carter or Professor X, but they revealed both of those in the trailers. So that's neither here nor there. That being said, I wanted to talk about a couple things. The first thing I want to talk about, Robert Downey Jr., that casting decision, it has sat with me a little bit longer, and I will admit, if they are planning on doing a hard reboot after Avengers Secret Wars, and they're going to take a year and they're going to restart from fresh, like from scratch or whatever, they're going to be able to bring back characters like T'Challa, bring back a new Iron Man, bring back a new Captain America, Steve Rogers, bring in the mutants, and be able to have those characters interact together in a world that is coherent and makes sense, and it seems like they've always been together. I am kind of excited for that, and I will say that if that is the plan, I'm okay with this casting. I think that this casting is actually pretty great. If it is going to be a huge conclusion, kind of similar to how Endgame was like the end of that giant saga, this could be the entire end of the entire MCU as we know it, technically speaking, and they could start like a new, how the DCEU is turning into the DCU. I can imagine them doing something like that with a new Marvel universe, and it could be called like the Marvel Extended Cinematic Universe or something like that. Now they're going to be the MCEU or whatever, and it's going to be really annoying to remember all the acronyms. But I think that if Avengers Secret Wars ends up being the finale for all of that and being the culmination of all of these different 20, 30 years of movies, whatever, it's going to be a really big deal, because it ending with Robert Downey Jr. and it starting with Robert Downey Jr. is always a great thing, and I really love that that's how Endgame went, and I feel like if they're going to be able to do it with a new character and him still being a really, really important part of the narrative, I think that that's awesome, and I do think that he can definitely play the character perfectly, and I will admit, seeing him in Oppenheimer has showed me that, like, you put him in specific makeup and do specific like hair and styles with him, he can look like a completely different person. Because if you see his character in Oppenheimer, and if somebody was to just show you a picture of that and be like, hey, what actor's playing this, a lot of you might not be able to guess Robert Downey Jr. Like, I think his eyes are pretty, you know, iconic, but like, they did a good job of making him unrecognizable. I think that the fact that it's white, black and white also really helped with that. But overall, his performance in that movie, I think, was incredible. And the fact that he was actually rumored to have been one of the people who was going to be casted as Doctor Doom back in 2005, I think it's pretty interesting. I think that this is a good casting decision. I trust Marvel, and I really trust Stephen McFeely. I believe that's the guy who wrote Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and I trust the Russo brothers, so I really do think that they chose Robert Downey Jr. for a specific reason, and that it's going to be really important. And now I want to talk about the thing that he said, new mask, same task. I am assuming that what is going to happen in Avengers Doomsday is that there's going to be an incursion between whatever universe that this Doctor Doom is from and our 616 universe, and he is going to try to defend his Earth by destroying other Earths, and I'm assuming that by the end of the movie, he's kind of going to create Battle World, and I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but I'm just going to go ahead and say this. His mission is 100% going to be creating a suit of armor around the world. He's definitely going to be somebody who's just trying to protect the world, and I can see this being a world where Doctor Doom is kind of seen as a hero, because he has the strength and the power to do things that other characters in the universe probably can't do. He has the will to, you know, if there's this thing that's really, really bad and it needs to be, you know, eradicated, he can do it. And I think that it's going to be really interesting seeing him play the most powerful character in the universe. And this version of Victor Von Doom, which they did confirm, he's going to be playing Victor Von Doom. I don't like the amount of people who are just like, oh my god, he's playing an Iron Man variant, and oh my god, he's going to be Tony Stark, but if he was evil. And I'm like, no. If they were going to do that, they probably would have just announced, you know, Superior Iron Man or something. They wouldn't have been like, he's playing Doctor Doom. And they wouldn't have said he's playing Victor Von Doom. So I think he's going to be playing a different character. I think it is going to be Victor Von Doom. I think that a lot of the stuff with Latveria and stuff is going to be loosely addressed, but I feel like it's going to be very, very kind of avoided because a lot of people wanted a robotic actor to play that character. And I think that Marvel knows a lot of people are going to be upset with that casting decision. However, if they do explain that, you know, after Avengers Secret Wars, there's going to be a reboot and we're probably going to see a new Fantastic Four cast that's going to be younger and a new Doctor Doom or whatever, could be interesting. That being said, I am still to this day kind of a little upset that the Fantastic Four cast that we got is a little bit older, because I was kind of hoping that this Fantastic Four would be the Fantastic Four for the next like 10, 15 years or something like that, like how Iron Man was, you know, Robert Downey Jr. was Iron Man for 10 years. But it kind of seems like they're going to be playing them in a big movie that's coming out 2025, a big movie that's coming out 2026, and then a big movie that's coming out 2027. So they're booked and busy for the next 3 years. Good for them. But also, man, that's going to be really interesting. I don't know how the hell they got Pedro Pascal like schedule to work for this. I'm very intrigued. I think that this is going to be a very interesting set of movies, and the way that they're going to be filming them back to back, I feel like there's going to be a lot of interesting stories to come out of this. With like Anthony and Joe Russo said, hey, this was one of the worst experiences we've ever had after filming Endgame and Infinity War back to back. So we'll see about that. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, overall, that was one of the main things I wanted to talk about, is just the fact that he's going to be playing a Victor Von Doom variant. I think he's going to be fighting incursions and stuff like that. And he's probably going to be wiping out universes. I think that that's something that they kind of wanted to set up with Kang and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, is that like he was pruning entire timelines, but like actually physically going and just wiping out planets full of people and stuff like that. And they only showed glimpses of it, but I could imagine there being a scene with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom going around and completely wiping out planets because they're on a collision course with his planet. And I think it'd be interesting. I think it'd be really cool. Seeing him kind of rule with an iron fist would be very interesting. And I am very, very excited to see what characters they bring into Avengers Doomsday, because they did announce that a lot of the characters who have been introduced in Phase 4 will probably be left out of it. And I think that that's insane that they would even say that this early on, because a lot of people are probably like looking at their favorite characters and being like, they better be in this goddamn movie. And if they're not, it's going to be a little concerning. But that being said, really excited for this movie. I don't think I'm going to say too much more. I just wanted to kind of come on here and also say, be aware of all of the random leaks and stuff that are coming out right now. A lot of people are going to be saying stuff like, oh my god, Nicolas Cage is confirmed to be in this movie, and oh my god, this specific actor is confirmed to be reprising his role from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or oh, this character who played, you know, this one really obscure Marvel character back in 1979 is going to be reprising his role. Don't believe all of those, because a lot of them, one, are not true, and for two, if they are, they're just going to ruin your experience, because that should be a really cool, you know, surprise when it comes up in the theater. And I really hope that the expectations versus reality isn't affecting a lot of people, because Deadpool and Wolverine was slightly ruined for me because my expectations for it were really, really high. And then whenever there wasn't any specific, like, MCU cameos, I was kind of like, damn, that's it. And I don't want people to feel that way about Secret Wars or Avengers Doomsday. So, that being said, that was it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. I love and appreciate you guys so much for watching. And if you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow. Bow, bow.